Hello, my name is David Stephen Jacques, and I'm from San Francisco, California, but grew up most of my life in Chicago, Illinois. I want to teach in Turkey because I'm fascinated by the culture and people, and every day I want to learn more about them, young and old, in a professional environment. The chance to teach English to native Turkish speakers presents itself as a challenge because of the many differences in grammar between the two languages, and this challenge is something that excites me professionally. Finally, I believe as Turkey continues to grow as a prominent country internationally, I think better understanding it and its people can have a great benefit to my career in the future and myself as a person. A little bit more about me, though. I have a bachelor's degree from the University of Vermont, where I studied the English language and its literature. I also have a TEFL, TESOL, TESOL certificate of 100 hours from the Oxford Seminars program. I've quite a bit of teaching related experience. Most recently, I worked at Fatih Koleji in Darija Kocaeli for the month of June 2014, where I worked from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. with a group of ninth and 10th grade students where I prepared them to take the TOEFL and IELTS exams. I also assisted them with the reading section of the SAT exam. I prepared daily lessons and activities where I helped build their skills in all manners of the English language, including listening, speaking, reading, and writing. For 1 year, I worked for the PAC School for Autistic Children as a teacher's assistant, where I worked with people aged 13 through 19 and assisted in daily tasks such as reading and listening exercises. My main job, though, was helping with classroom management. Because many students were restless, my main task was to try and keep the students from misbehaving and engaged in the day's activities. For 2 years, from 2012 to 2014, I've worked as a basketball and rugby coach, with kids as young as 5 and as old as 16. I was in charge of managing the equipment and preparing the instructions for each day's practices. With basketball, I also worked on individual skills with players, mostly between the ages of 14 and 16, whose native languages were English and Spanish. At practice, I would work with them one at a time, or up to 12 at a time, to try and work on the finer points of the game with them. Lastly, for 3 years, I was a senior camp counselor at Parker Summers Camp. There, for 1 year, I worked with children aged 4 with a group of about 15. I led daily tasks such as beginner reading, as well as swimming and various other sports and activities. For the next 2 years, I worked with children aged 6 and 12 in groups of about 20. There, I also led events such as sports, but also organized field trips to zoos, museums, and other academic places. Then, I would lead reflective activities such as speaking or writing about that day's trip. I was also the special events coordinator my last year, where I would organize for a camp of 150 children an afternoon activity that all the kids would participate in, from relay races to finding a speaker that I thought the children would find interesting. My favorite or most useful activity I found in the classroom are debates. They get the students talking, and if you find something they're passionate about, then they will really participate without even realizing they're working and are having fun doing it. My best memory of it was I separated students between their favorite football teams, which were Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, and Besiktas, and had them try to argue why their team was better than the others. It was a great moment because I got the students to really talk to each other in English on their own, and they weren't worried about making mistakes anymore, but were more focused on the task and interacting with each other in English. Another game I used often is Who Am I?, where each student chooses a person or object and gives the other students clues to try and guess who that student is. This game is effective for me because you can adapt the rules of the game to whatever lesson you have. Maybe they have to use a specific verb tense that we studied that day, or perhaps their character must be related to the subject we are dealing with in class. You can really adapt the game to fit whatever your needs are in that given lesson. The routines of my class are pretty simple, but I believe they're very important. I usually start with some game or speaking activity because it wakes the students up and it gets them thinking and speaking in English from the beginning. I've also used I've also found students are more likely to be on time, especially in the summer, if they know they will be doing something fun in the beginning. Then we will usually get into the more studious parts of the lesson, like a new material, reading exercises, or even just going over the homework. Lastly, I try to end class with another activity or game that's a little bit more exciting, if time permits. And I try to reward students who do well on that day, who complete their homework, who participate, who aren't playing on their cell phones, by letting them pick the activity. This is important because I found it rewards students for doing well, and that by yelling, it doesn't really work when you want students to be involved, and rather, if you reward them for doing well, then they will likely participate more and be more inclined to participate in the future. Younger students, you can use star charts and other things of that nature, but I found with older students who are becoming more adult, you need to find rewards that are more useful to them and that apply to their everyday lives, like maybe giving them the chance to shine in front of the other class by being rewarded as doing maybe the best that day. I hope this has provided you with the knowledge you need to know me as a professional and as a person. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to hopefully being able to work with you in the near future. Thank you.